I was working as the sales director at Tom's company. One day, I was absolutely floored by what Tom said when he got home.
I got a 29-year-old beautiful employee pregnant. Please, let's get a divorce.
I was taken aback. It was all too sudden, and I couldn't organize my farts. I told Tom that I wanted to have a discussion with the three of us later, and then I lay down on the bed in our bedroom. Emily was pregnant. It turned out I was the one with fertility issues. Even though I thought I had lost all feelings for Tom, I couldn't stop the tears from flowing. The next day, I overheard a conversation between Tom and Emily.
Tom, why didn't you dump a woman who can't have an heir?
Because she is competent at her job. There's no reason to fire her.
Then let's just keep her around. Once the baby is born, she can take care of it.
You're smart, Emily. She's a middle-aged woman, so she probably knows a thing or two about parenting well.
Hearing their laughter, I clenched my fists. Always talking nonsense. You guys enjoy it while it lasts. I'll make sure they regret ever making fun of me. I'm Maria, a 44-year-old housewife. 10 years ago, at a reunion with college friends, I reconnected with Tom. Tom is the only son of a well-known local famous company. He lost his father when he was young, and now his mother serves as the company's chairwoman. Back in college, I shared a class with Tom but never got close to him, because a lively group always surrounded him, and I felt inferior due to our different backgrounds. However, upon reuniting, I found he didn't flaunt his wealth and was actually very friendly and cheerful. Later, after dining out together, Tom asked me to be his girlfriend, and eventually, he proposed. My family is just an average middle-class household. I was nervous that his mother might object, thinking I wasn't good enough, but when we went to meet his parents, they accepted me without hesitation. It seemed to make a good impression that I had studied accounting and business management in college, and had also obtained certifications. After getting engaged, I took a job at Tom's company, and now I'm working as the sales department manager, handling sales administration tasks. Growing up watching my parents' loving relationship, I always dreamed of getting married. I never doubted that if I were with the person I love, we could build a warm and loving home. So, I never thought our happiness would crumble in just a decade after getting married. At the beginning of our marriage, Tom was very kind to me. His friendships were extensive in addition to his company as the CEO, and so his weekends were scheduled almost every week. While they were Tom's friends, to me, they were strangers. So I thought I'd be left out, but instead, Tom took me along to events like barbecues, camping, and skiing, introducing me to his friends. Among his friends were not only men but also women, couples, and married folks. Not having friends of the opposite sex myself, I felt uneasy about the existence of female friends, but Tom interacted with them with proper boundaries. Neither the female friends nor Tom showed any behavior that could lead to misunderstandings, and I was relieved. Given my shyness, I admired Tom for his ability to interact so friendly and without bias with everyone, such as single, married, male, and female. However, over the years, Tom's attitude toward me gradually became colder. He would frown upon seeing my face, sigh, or look displeased at the cosmetics I left in the bathroom. "Tom, our anniversary is coming up soon. I'll make a reservation at our usual restaurant." When I mentioned this, he replied grumpily,
"Can't you see I'm busy with work? I don't have time to go to the restaurant."
"But you've always made time for that day no matter how busy you were." Then Tom sighed deeply and said in an exasperated tone,
"If you want to go, go by yourself. How long are you going to act like we're still newlyweds?"
I was disheartened by his harsh words. Surely, he must be tired and irritable. Thinking this, I sent him a tie from his favorite brand for his birthday, but he wasn't pleased.
"Maria, you have no fashion sense. I don't like this brand anymore. Why would I want more junk in my drawer?"
"Oh no, I'm sorry. I had researched online and even went to the store to carefully choose it, only to be criticized like that." I couldn't recall doing anything to particularly upset him. Despite saying he was busy, he regularly went to gatherings with his friends. The thought crossed my mind, does he not want to go out with me? And then a definitive incident occurred. I was excited when invited to go to the mall, so I got ready with enthusiasm. I wore a brand new outfit and did my makeup more brightly for the private outing, eagerly waiting for Tom to be ready. But when Tom was ready to go, he looked at me and smirked.
"What's with that outfit? Wearing a skirt at your age is just ridiculous."
"Oh, no, doesn't it look good on me?"
"Do you even realize your age? Once you're past 40, you're officially an old lady, right? Your makeup is too loud, and curling your hair looks ridiculous. You might have been cute back in the day, but that's not the case anymore."
His disdainful tone pierced through my heart. "But your friends dress up stylishly, don't they?"
"They can pull it off because they're beautiful. You're different. Trying to look young at your age just looks desperate and pathetic."
"I don't want to try making younger." Tom clicked his tongue in response to my rebuttal.
"Put on your normal clothes. Are you trying to embarrass me?" Forget it. I've lost my interest in going out. You've ruined the mood after I went through the trouble of inviting you."
With a look of disgust, he threw his jacket on the sofa and retreated upstairs to his study.
"I want shrimp fried rice in 30 minutes for today's lunch."
His voice came down from the stairs. I was just a little excited about going out after a long time. Why did I upset Tom's mood? I bit my lip to hold back tears, changed back into my room clothes, removed my makeup, and started preparing lunch. Upon reflection, if I'm considered an old lady at our age, then Tom is an old man too. I may not be a beauty, but Tom is just an average middle-aged man. Just like any other middle-aged guy out there. Raised to be the next CEO of the company, he's always been full of pride and confidence. Before we got married, I saw those traits as admirable, but I never expected to be looked down upon like this. Sometimes, I feel like voicing my complaints out loud. but since we work together, I have to face Tom at the company. If there's awkward tension between us as a couple, it makes the employees feel uncomfortable too. With that in mind, I usually end up bending over backward to keep Tom's mood up. At home, Tom might be the lord and master, but step outside, and he's a completely different person, charming, leaving a great impression on everyone he meets. A textbook example of a second-generation heir with no real management skills, but loved by our clients and partners for his refreshing smile and affability. This is in stark contrast to his surliness at home.
I'm the CEO, you know. Can I really be expected to eat such cheap food? I'd rather have instant noodles.
He always complains if the meal isn't to his liking, slurping cup noodles next to me in a snide manner. Tom also seems to resent it whenever I have plans to go out while he's home.
Going out without taking care of your husband, is that what a housewife does?
I'm just going shopping for clothes. Lunch is ready to be microwaved, and I'll be back before dinner.
You should be the one to serve meals. Being a housewife and all, living off the money I make, you sure have it easy.
Though I earn less than Tom as the CEO, I also work full-time. I contribute to our living expenses, so I shouldn't be criticized for it. Moreover, when Tom took over the company from his mother, his inexperience caused some trouble with our business partners. And I was the one who went around apologizing for it.
You were cute 10 years ago. Now, you've just worn out like an old rag.
Lately, he's taken to picking on my appearance whenever he can.
You're a failure as a wife since you couldn't produce an heir. I'm only keeping you around out of pity. Be grateful.
I wanted kids too, but it wasn't meant to be. How about we see a doctor? There might still be time. When I suggest this, Tom shakes his head.
I don't want to waste extra money on that. It's obviously your fault. I'll forgive you since you're good at your job.
When I get frustrated, I meet up with my best friend, Arya, and vent to her. Since we've been friends since college, she knows Tom well and sympathizes with me.
Tom puts on a good face in public, but then he takes out his frustrations on you at home. He is hopeless, isn't he?
Arya frowned, resting her chin on her hand.
Remember how he used to come crying, wondering what to do? Does he think he's the only one who's grown the company?
Maybe he's forgotten where he started. I muttered. There was support from Mill and the other executives, but I worked hard too. Thanks, Arya. I feel a lot better now. As I thanked her, Arya responded with a bright smile.
I'm always on your side, Maria. Whenever something comes up, just let me know. I'm here to help.
Arya's supportive words lifted my spirits somewhat. Lately, Tom's behavior has been visibly strange. Claiming social engagements, he spends most weekends out. Even on weekdays, he doesn't come home until after midnight. Yet, he never seems tired, instead always looking like he's having a good time. One evening, after finishing the housework, I was reading in the living room. Today, Tom left in the morning without saying where he was going. I expected his return to be late at night. Then, unusually, he came home just after 8 p.m. Tom entered the living room, his cheeks flushed with excitement he could hardly contain. "Welcome back, you're home early today."
Maria, you're gonna be glad.
"What? Why?"
I'm going to have a child.
I blinked in disbelief. "Excuse me."
I got a 29-year-old beautiful employee pregnant. Please, let's get a divorce.
I stared at Tom, taken aback by the suddenness of it all, struggling to process what I had just heard.
So, I'm finally going to be a dad. Finally, an heir. My mom would be thrilled.
"Wait a minute, you've been cheating me." When I asked in shock, Tom nonchalantly replied,
You know, Emily, from accounting.
"Yes, I know her well. She's pretty."
Right. Beautiful and has a great figure. And she's still in her 20s. Plus, she is competent at her job. Young women are just better.
Excuse me. Though it was the first I heard of Emily being competent at her job.
So, that means you are no longer needed. Let's get divorced.
His blunt statement left me fuming. Over these 10 years, my dissatisfaction with Tom had accumulated, leaving me with no attachment to our marriage. But I am not so good-natured as to say, "Yes, I understand," in reply. If he had been cheating, then I needed to get a substantial settlement from both of them. Being put on the spot like this is troubling. "Could you invite Emily over? Let's have a discussion, the three of us." At this, Tom's voice perked up.
I understood. I'll let her know.
Watching Tom's happy stride towards the shower, I closed my book. I went upstairs to the bedroom and lay down on my bed, overwhelmed by a sense of emptiness. Overwhelmed by a sense of emptiness. More than the shock of being cheated on, I was devastated by the fact that he had gotten someone else pregnant. Tom had always wanted a successor. Of course, just because he wanted it didn't guarantee a boy. But before that, I couldn't become pregnant. If Emily was, then it implied the issue was with me. I wondered if we would have been happily raising a child together by now, if I had been able to conceive. I thought I had no love for Tom anymore, but I couldn't stop crying. The next day, I arrived at work early, my eyes swollen. I made myself a coffee to wake up. As I was about to step out into the hallway, I overheard Tom and Emily's conversation through the door.
Was she shocked?
Yeah, she looked completely stunned.
Really, she hadn't noticed the affair. That's hilarious. It's been going on for 2 years, Emily giggled.
Why didn't you dump her earlier, Tom? A woman who can't even bear a successor?
She's useful like a maid, you know. Plus, she is good at her job. If we divorced, she'd probably quit due to the awkwardness, right?
Then why not keep her around? You can always dump her later. Once the baby is born, you can make her take care of it since it's the CEO's child.
Tom was impressed by this outrageous suggestion.
You're smart, Emily. She's a middle-aged woman, so she probably knows a thing or two about parenting well. If it's for the kid's sake, she'll probably listen.
Their laughter at such a cruel plan clenched my fists in anger. Their time to laugh and belittle me was limited. I'll make sure they regret underestimating me. After making all the necessary preparations, I informed Tom 2 weeks later to invite Emily over to our house. On the evening of the day, Emily arrived as if she was visiting a friend's house.
Sorry for intruding. Wow, Tom's house is really lovely. I've always wanted to come here.
Her eyes sparkled with excitement as Tom arrogantly declared,
You should have said so earlier. I would have had her cook and entertain you.
Ignoring my frown, Emily curiously looked around the interior, wandering around as if she owned the place.
The kitchen is so spacious and stylish. It's nothing like my small apartment.
Your place was cute too. It had that young woman's touch.
Are you sure, Tom? Can I see the other rooms too?
Tom, grinning, agreed to her presumptuous request and led the way.
This is the study room, and next to it is the sunroom.
I wish I had a sunroom. Oh, there aren't many houseplants. Such a waste of a spacious area. Is this Maria's preference?
Emily criticized the space with a glass table, an indoor hammock, and just 2 potted plants. This woman, supposed to be here to apologize for the affair, is finding fault with my home's interior. What kind of person does that? No sane person would suggest having the company the CEO's wife raise their child.
Well, no way, impossible. Maria isn't as gentle as you. She kills flowers immediately. Plants must hate her.
That's so sad for Maria.
As the 2 laughed, I bluntly interjected. You're here for a discussion, right? Let's have a seat at the table and get to it. Waiting for Tom and Emily to sit across from me at the table, I began. Let's confirm once more. Emily, you're pregnant with Tom's child, correct? Both nodded.
Maria, I'm sorry, but this is fate.
Emily's eyes teared up as she looked at me with a pleading gesture. Her familiarity grated on my nerves.
This baby coming to me means that Tom and I were destined to be together in a past life. Marrying Maria was the mistake. We need to correct this mistake and start over, or both Maria and Tom will be unhappy. I love you both too much to let that happen.
I couldn't help but smirk at Emily's absurd logic. The extent of their self-justification was so appalling that I was left speechless.
I truly love Tom from the bottom of my heart, so please let me have Tom's child. I beg you.
Emily's syrupy plea was met with Tom sniffling. He was moved to tears.
I love Emily too. It would be pitiful for our child to grow up without a father, especially since it's going to be the heir to Johnson Industry. We need to raise it with care, together as its parents.
Their clingy display and earnest appeals only served to deepen my disillusionment. Any residual affection I had for Tom was now completely extinguished. I had no desire to continue as his wife. I am okay, but I'm quitting my job.
What? Keep working, though.
Tom frowned.
At your age, quitting now would make it hard to find another job. Considering your contributions, we can keep you on here.
I don't think so. I have qualifications in management. I'm sure I can find something else.
Tom, you are so kind. If the CEO says so, Maria, you should stay. It doesn't bother me at all.
I sighed at Emily's grinning face. That's impossible, because this woman... I paused for effect before dropping the bombshell. She has been embezzling company funds.
What? What are you saying?
Emily's eyes widened before she quickly looked away, her gaze falling awkwardly to the floor.
What did you say?
Tom showed a sudden panic. I kindly explained. This woman has been pocketing money meant for entertainment and travel expenses. She's been filling out blank receipts with her own amounts. As Tom's face paled, I continued in a calm tone. Nobody noticed for 2 years except for me. It only came to light after I conducted some interviews with related parties recently. I sighed heavily. Considering it's a family business, I thought it's time to cut ties. The thought of seeing your faces after the divorce disgusts me, so I'll be looking for a job elsewhere.
Stop casting weird suspicions, please.
Emily protested, her face contorted in discomfort.
Where's the evidence for such a claim?
The accounting manager you were cheating on threw up everything when the managing director asked. As I reached for my phone, Emily covered her face with her hands and burst into tears.
I'm sorry. Actually, my father's company went bankrupt. My mother fell ill with an incurable disease and was hospitalized. My brothers rebelled against such parents, made debts, and disappeared. My salary alone wasn't enough. I just ended up doing it.
Whether she had eye drops prepared or not, Emily cried violently. Tom, easily deceived, consoled Emily, deeply moved.
That stuff. You should have told me.
I didn't want to trouble you, Tom. All the money went to paying off debts. I can't pay it back.
Tom seemed to believe her transparent lie. She must have spent all the money herself.
What are you saying? Don't be so formal. Crying too much might affect the baby. How much was it?
It's $20,000, and of course, I expect it all back. Depending on your attitude, I might even press charges for embezzlement.
That much? We can cover. Who knows about this?
The whole board.
I'll keep them quiet. Emily, don't do it again.
Yes, I won't. Thank you.
I was disgusted by Tom stroking Emily's head. It is hard to believe the CEO's attitude. It felt like watching a poorly acted romance drama, making me nauseous. I suppressed my nausea and continued as planned. So, Emily working part-time at a hostess bar was also to help your family. Tom showed a flicker of disturbance at my words, but quickly pretended it was nothing.
Our company doesn't prohibit part-time jobs. I wish you should have told me about it.
I'm really sorry.
Emily's face stiffened, a detail I didn't miss. Smiling, I laid out the photos I had acquired on the living room table. Stuff like this seems harmful to the baby, honestly questionable, but if it's Emily's decision, there's nothing I can do. Emily's expression changed instantly. She snatched the photos from the table.
That was.
Shots with her clients. Tom, you wouldn't want to see this.
Emily answered with a forced smile, but I laid out different photos in front of Tom. He gasped. Understandably, since the photos showed Emily arm in arm with various men, happily entering hotels. Emily scrambled to gather the photos that suggested she had intimate relations with multiple men, but it was too late. Emily frantically tried to explain, as Tom was at a loss for words.
It's not what it looks like. I felt sick during off-site dates and entered duress. I didn't do anything shady. Believe me, Tom.
She pleaded with sparkling eyes, but even Tom was visibly shocked.
Is that so?
You don't believe me, Tom. That's so mean. You're the only one for me.
Emily's feverish appeal to cling to Tom only made him display a bitter expression. I sighed heavily and stood up. Retrieving my private laptop from the bedroom and plugging in a USB I had received from a detective agency to play the damning audio evidence. Tom cried out in distress as the room filled with indiscreet sounds.
Stop it. Stop it right now.
The walls of hotels are surprisingly thin, aren't they? Seems like it's easy to record through them. I wonder if it's the technology or the equipment that's impressive. Emily, looking demonic, lashed out at me as she approached.
You shameless woman. Are you going to these lengths just to break us up? You don't care about Tom's feelings at all. It's fine for you to hurt him.
I'm merely exposing the truth. The one who hurt Tom is you, isn't it? And are you really pregnant? Or do you want the status of being the CEO's wife?
It's different. My stomach will start showing soon. It's definitely Tom's child.
With those photos, you can be sure whose it is.
A mother's intuition.
Did you say it is intuition, huh? I couldn't help but laugh at her audacity. Emily, getting in my face and shouting back, insisted.
I wasn't serious with those guys. They were just for fun. The only one I truly love is Tom.
I am sorry, but I can't understand Emily's logic. I shrugged in resignation and turned to Tom. What about you, Tom? Even if the child looks nothing like you, are you planning to raise it as your heir?
I don't know what to say.
Not expecting him to hesitate, I threw in a sarcastic comment. So, any boy will do, even if he's someone else's, just like a cuckoo.
What? It's my blood, not someone else's. And what right does a woman who can't even get pregnant have to talk?
Emily exploded in anger.
You know, you've always acted so high and mighty, despite being so unattractive. Ever since I joined the company, I hated you. Just because you're good at your job, you think you can boss everyone around.
Blaring and ranting in fury, she continued.
Telling male employees not to flirt, advising against seducing bosses. You are so annoying.
As Emily ranted vulgarly, confident in her tirade.
You're jealous of me because you're ugly, aren't you? You must have thought you were a winner when you married the CEO, but you are a loser now.
Emily laughed in a high voice.
Hey, that's enough.
As Emily ranted vulgarly, confident in her tirade, Tom seemed dismayed. Trying to calm her, Tom pulled at Emily's sleeve, but she was too heated to stop.
You can't bear children, and you are not even pretty. In the past, you'd have been divorced long ago. Lucky for you. That's only because Tom's too kind. You're a defective product, kept out of pity. But that's over now. Hand over the position of the CEO's wife to me and go back to being a lonely old hag.
Ignoring Emily's insults became tedious, and as I tuned her out, the living room door opened. Tom turned pale at the sight of the newcomer.
What? Mom?
The chairwoman. Perfect timing.
Emily brightened up, standing to greet to my Mill.
Nice to meet you, Mill. I'm Emily from accounting. I'm carrying Tom's child. It's surely a boy. Since I'm pregnant with the heir, Tom and I will be getting married.
My mill, with a look of exasperation, massaged her temples. Sighing deeply, she spoke in a low voice.
Tom, can you get this flighty woman to be quiet for a moment?
Emily froze at Mill's harsh words. Looking at Emily as if she were trash, my Mill scolded Tom sharply.
Only Maria has the right to call me Mill. Tom, it's because you're so absent-minded that weirdos can take advantage of you.
Emily showed confusion but managed a stiff smile.
Well, I mean, the chairwoman. I am carrying Tom's child. A boy, according to a mother's intuition. Unlike incompetent Maria, I'll give birth to a worthy heir for the company's future. We do need a child, right?
However, my Mill twisted her face in disgust and retorted.
I don't care if it's a grandson or granddaughter. Wanting to be the CEO's wife after embezzling company funds. Are you sane?
But, Mom, Emily has complicated family circumstances. Can't we overlook it just this once?
My Mill responded with a half laugh.
You foolish boy. You really believe that excuse?
Tom's face fell in shame as he looked at the documents my Mill placed on the table. Mill, you also had a private investigator check Emily's background. I see. I chuckled as I read the documents. Her parents work for a major corporation, and her brother is studying abroad. Her family is much wealthier than mine, so the embezzled money was for her personal use. Tom looked at Emily next to him, with disbelief.
Pictures of her shopping extensively at brand stores have been taken. You're in debt because of credit card payments, right?
My Mill sneered through her nose.
Also, this woman's obstetrics and gynecology is run by an acquaintance of mine. After I explained the situation, they let me know she's not pregnant at all.
What?
She's been going there for irregular periods, right?
Emily turned bright red as my Mill grinned wickedly.
Bitch, don't give away my personal information.
Sure. Anyway, be prepared because we're pressing charges for embezzlement. Please proceed with the preparations, Arya.
Yes, I understood, madam.
I smiled at Arya, who appeared behind the chairwoman. Indeed, my best friend Arya is the company's legal counsel. When Emily's embezzlement came to light, I informed my Mill and immediately consulted Arya. This was all while calculating the best moment to confront the situation, just as Tom was pressing me for a divorce.
I'm so sorry for lying about being pregnant, but my love for Tom is real. Please believe me.
Emily's tearful plea softened Tom's expression.
Emily.
That's right. Tom, you're being dismissed as the CEO for your irresponsibility in this affair.
Tom and Emily gasped.
Come on, just for an affair.
You had an affair with a woman who embezzled. It's only natural. Not a single executive is on your side.
This can't be happening.
Tom began to shake, covering his face with his hands.
Tom was good at entertaining clients, remembered well by other company the CEOs, which is why we kept this good-for-nothing around.
My Mill continued in a stern voice.
But neglecting Maria, who contributed to the company, for a brainless young woman, a son like that is frankly unnecessary.
Lie. Fired. Please, spare me. I was deceived by Emily.
Tom's voice sounded close to tears.
Mom, I was wrong. It was just a moment of folly. I'll break up with Emily. Just keep me at the company. It's impossible to find another job at my age.
Tom's pathetic plea to his mother made Emily seem disenchanted.
What? After all that doting on me, to turn around just because Mom says so? The worst.
Emily glared, her disappointment palpable.
I only cozied up to you because you were the CEO. If you were just a regular employee, a greasy old man 15 years my senior, I wouldn't have given you the time of day.
What? You said you fell for me without caring about my title. This lying woman.
Believing such nonsense, you're so gullible. That's why you got fooled by me.
At Emily's words, Mimel shook her head in disgust.
Both of you are as bad as each other. In that sense, you're well matched.
Then the doorbell rang. Checking the front door monitor, there stood a police officer. Out of consideration for the neighbors, they had arrived in a patrol car without the siren. Emily, not expecting to be actually arrested, showed her panic. She even started flirting with the police officer who entered the room.
Please listen to me, officer. I was deceived by the accounting manager.
We'll hear your story at the station. Please come with us.
Dismissed coldly, Emily clicked her tongue and was taken away in the patrol car. Tom, watching her being taken away from the doorway, staggered back to the sofa and slumped down in defeat. That same day, it seemed the co-conspirator, the accounting manager, was also arrested. However, since both were first-time offenders, they were quickly released. Emily, having spent all her money, had no savings and had to take out loans to repay the embezzled funds and my compensation. Naturally fired from the company, she began working multiple part-time jobs, including her previous job at a night hostess bar. She had to work day and night, weekends and days, and it seemed that she couldn't take care of her appearance. She looked haggard and worn when I saw her on the street recently, a far cry from the beautiful employee she once was. Meanwhile, Tom, spared from being fired, thanks to his mother's mercy, was transferred to a regional branch after our divorce. The details of his dismissal as the CEO spread among the employees, leading to him being ostracized and working in a hostile environment. Disowned by his mother and having spent all his savings on my alimony, Tom came to me, begging for reconciliation.
Maria, I was wrong. Let's start over. I won't cheat again. Your ex-husband is struggling financially. You wouldn't abandon me, right?
Why don't you ask the young girl you love so much to support you? You still have a job, even if the pay isn't great, so work hard. After scolding him over the phone and blocking his contact, he seemed to finally give up. According to Mimel, Tom's once bright personality is nowhere to be found. He spends his days without speaking to anyone, completing his tasks, and locks himself away in his room on his days off. Tom's cousin, who had been the CEO, took over as the CEO in his stead. Recognized for my past achievements, I was promoted to a director on the board. The new CEO, though not much of a talker, is sincere and well-liked by the staff. My work has become busier, but my days are fulfilling. Though divorced from Tom, I occasionally have meals with my ex-husband's mother. Despite her position as the chairwoman, she never pressured me about producing an heir. This ordeal has deepened my respect for her character. Even though my ties with Tom are severed, I hope to maintain a close mentor-mentee relationship with the chairwoman, appreciating her as a senior figure in life.